Whether you are doing this Easter egg solo or co-op, I highly recommend the Killjoy Gobblegum for the boss fight. For the rest of your loadout, I highly recommend bringing in the ASG-12 shotgun. And as for your field upgrade, I run either Energy Mime or Aether Shroud doing this solo. However, if you're doing this with co-op, either you can bring Healing Aura or someone else can. Now, before I get into the Easter egg, I'm going to teach you how to build the jet gun, as because it is needed to do the Easter egg. If you already have the jet gun built by the time you're watching this video, or if you already got it out of the box, I'm going to leave a timestamp right now for you to skip so you can get into the main Easter egg. But if you haven't gotten the jet gun, I'm going to teach you how to build it. The jet gun requires 3 parts in order to build it. The first part can be found by going to the right side of the map and going to Speed Cola. Once you're at Speed Cola, look to your right. There's going to be a pipe sticking out from one of the buildings with a water valve on it. You want to pick up the water valve. Next, you want to head over to the left side of the map in the bowling alley. Once you're inside, look to the right of the bowling lane and you're going to see a panel. Either shoot it or melee it. The panel should come off. Once it comes off, you can attach the water valve onto it and start using it. Once you start spinning the valve, you are going to be locked in an animation. If you are doing this solo, I highly recommend you bring decoy grenades, and if your Energy Mine or your Aether Shroud is activated, I would recommend using them, because zombies are going to spawn ridiculously fast, and they're just going to be crowding you. If you are doing this co-op, I highly recommend having your teammates protect you. If they have decoys, make them throw it. Make them use literally every equipment they have. Now, you can let go of the valve and you'll be able to kill zombies and such. However, the bar won't progress. And if you leave the bowling alley, it will reset and you're going to have to do it all over again. But once it's completed, the water gauge is going to shoot off the panel and go onto the floor. Pick it up and you will have the first piece for the jet gun. For the second part, you want to bring yourself over to the cemetery, which is on the right of the church at the top of the map. Once there, stand around for a couple seconds or so, and a zombie is going to spawn. The zombie is going to look like a farmer. He's going to be in overalls and whatnot. What you want to do is kill this zombie, and they're going to drop a tool shed key. Now, with the key, you want to bring it to the tool shed, which is very close to the cemetery. It's to the left of the zip line, and you're going to open the door. Once you open the door, there's going to be a handbrake on a table. It's going to glow yellow. You can pick it up, and that is going to be the second part for the jet gun. And finally, for the last part of the jet gun, you want to bring yourself over to the comic book store where Quick Revive is. But before you enter it, look to your right. There is going to be a closed down tech store that has its door closed. What you need to do now is open up this door. You could do this in 3 ways. The first way is either to cheese a mangler to shoot the door for you. The second is just to kill a mangler to get its arm, or you can just buy it off at the workbench and then shoot it that way, or you can use the mute injection to just turn yourself into a mangler and just shoot the door that way. All these ways will blow open the door and you can go inside. Once inside, you want to look on the ground for piles of rubbish and just kind of look through them. Some of them are just going to contain salvage, some of them are going to contain vermin, but one pile is going to contain a spool of wiring that you're going to need for the final part. Once you get it, it's going to glow gold like all the other ones, and you want to pick it up, and then you will have all the parts needed for the jet gun. Now, with all these parts obtained, bring yourself back to spawn and go up on the second floor on the motel. If you haven't opened up this door already, be careful. A bunch of zombies are going to pool out of there. Go inside the motel, and there's going to be an unfinished jet gun on a table. With the 3 parts, build it, pick it up, and now you got the jet gun. Now with the jet gun built, we can start going into the Easter egg. Head back to the church and interact with the machine that is on the right. Your screen should flash white, and once it's done, look behind you and look at the balcony that Panos is on. To the left of it, there should be a top hat of some sort. You need to use the jet gun and use the suck mode on it to obtain it. Next, you want to come up onto this roof and then jump on the truck below. Once you're on the truck, look at this window right here and then use the suck mode on the jet gun. A part should come towards you and you should be able to pick it up. And for the final part, head over into the comic store and look up at this portion of the ceiling. Suck with the jet gun and a part should come down to you. Now with all these parts collected, head over to the roof of the bank, and on the workbench, you can build the LTG device. Once built, pick it up. Head back to the church and pick up the available canister sticking out of the machine. Once you pick up the canister, you will not be able to sprint, however you can just press C to put it down. Place the canister on the green circles that are connected to the Aether traps. One is in front of the gas station, and the other is on the street past Speed Cola. You could do either one. I personally like to do the gas station first. At the gas station, take a right and go to the Aether Storm. What you want to do now is use the LTG you built earlier and place it on the ground. Once you do this, a 1-minute timer is going to begin, and you need to protect the LTG as it summons the HVT, which is the high value target. If you fail, you could just try it again, but once the timer is done, a special mini boss is going to spawn. It's either going to be a Mangler or it's going to be an Abomination. They are going to have more health than your standard Manglers and Abominations. What you need to do now is kill this HVT near the canister while the trap is on. The best way to do this is to just damage the HVT until it starts to have a purple aura around it. Then turn on the trap, and then within the purple circles on the ground, kill the HVT within it. You'll know you do it when you see a purple beam kind of shoot up from the HVT into the canister. Next, pick up the canister and then bring it back to the church and put it inside the machine. Just like when you first picked it up, you won't be able to run, and you are on a time limit. But as long as you just make a straight book for the church, you'll be fine. The machine is now going to have something called the Strauss counter for you to pick up. It's going to replace your tactical equipment, but it is needed. Around the map, there are going to be 3 white terminals. What you need to do with the Strauss counter is pull it out, and whatever color that the Strauss counter shows, you need to put a specific color into the terminal. For example, if you put out the Strauss counter and the screen is yellow, you need to tune the terminal to yellow. If you pull out the counter and it's red, then you need to switch the terminal to the color green. And if it's green, you need to switch the terminal to red. The first terminal can be found on the staircase leading towards the church, right next to PhD Flopper. The second can be found right before the tool shed, right when you pass the giant staircase. And the last one can be found by heading to the roof of the bank and buying this door. Once you buy it, jump down and it should be right to the right. Head back to spawn by the gas station and pick up your new canister. While you're here, you could also pick up your LTG device if you haven't done it already. With your new canister, place it on the green circle on the trap by Speed Cola, not by the gas station, and then after that, head to the cemetery and place the LTG on the next Aether cloud. This is going to do another 1-minute stand where you need to defend the LTG. And just like the first one, after the timer is up, an HVT is going to spawn, damage it down to where it gets that purple aura, and then turn on the trap and then kill the HVT while it's inside the trap. Now, if you kill the HVT while it's outside the trap and the canister doesn't get filled, no need to panic, just head back to the LTG and then press it again. You don't have to do the 1-minute countdown, it just immediately spawns the HVT. Once the HVT's been killed, you can pick up the canister and bring it back to the church like you did before. Be careful. Only interact with the machine once, because if you spam it, it will send you straight to the boss fight if you're doing it solo. If you accidentally do it on co-op, make sure to yell at your friends to not accept the thingy. And that's because the next step of the Easter egg is going to be a lockdown in the church, which is basically the boss fight. So before you go into the boss fight, here are my recommendations. As stated previously in the loadout, the ASG-89 is the best shotgun to bring in. I would recommend getting this either Epic Rarity, Pack-a-Punch Tier 3, or if you can wait a bit longer, solo or with your crew, get everybody's guns to Legendary Tier 3 Pack-a-Punch. I also highly recommend that everybody brings in a Mutant Injection. This is the score streak that allows you to turn into a Mangler, as well as everybody carrying either Monkey Bombs or Decoys, and for the regular equipment, you could kind of use whatever. But if you are going to be using a lot of explosives, I also highly recommend bringing PhD. But more importantly, I think the most important perk to bring in for this boss fight is going to be Deadshot Daiquiri, as it will allow you to do more damage on critical hits on the Manglers and Abomination. Once you and your crew are ready, go to the church and go to the machine and interact with it. If you're doing it solo, it's going to take you straight into the boss fight. If you're doing it co-op, it's going to be a vote, just like Exfil. But once the vote goes through, everyone's going to be teleported into the church for the lockdown. Now, the lockdown has 3 phases. The first phase being pretty easy. I'm pretty sure only a couple Manglers spawn, especially in solo. For the second phase, it gets a bit more crazy with there being a couple more Manglers. However, there is also 1 HVT Mangler, which is the red Manglers that have extra health. And for the final phase, a red Mangler is going to spawn, but also a HVT Abomination. However, if you remember when I mentioned you should bring in Killjoy, that is when you should pop the insta-kill and just decimate the Abomination. Don't forget that you could also run multiple gobblegums in your inventory. I didn't say this in the beginning, but I'm gonna say it now. If you have idolize, it may not be needed, but it could definitely help. Remember, you could pop multiple gobblegums at once. So you could pop idolize, let all the zombies stand still, including the abomination and mangler, and then immediately pop your insta-kill and go kill both of them. Once phase 3 is finished, the Easter egg is going to be completed. However, every player in the game is going to go down. Don't panic, this is part of the Easter egg. A cutscene is then going to play, give you some lore, and then it's going to ask you and your crew if you want to either just leave the game or if you want to exfil. If you do choose to exfil, you will be teleported back to spawn and be given a bunch of upgrade rewards, a bunch of golden weapons, and a ray gun. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire Liberty Falls Easter egg. If you guys liked the video and if you want to see more Easter eggs or minor Easter eggs, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, like, subscribe, share, and since I got y'all here, go subscribe to my buddy's channel, Hayden115. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.